Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome back to Soulful Abundance with Chris. I am super excited to introduce one of my dear friends, one of my business besties, Kim Kasparian. Kim, thank you for being here today. I'm so
Thank
excited.
you. I'm
Yeah.
excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. Always with you. Always excited to be here with
Yay! I
you.
know we love doing
Yay.
stuff together. Kim, it specializes in building relationships and really, getting into how do we connect with people? How do we build relationships? How do we collaborate with people so that they can build their business to seven figures? So, Kim, I just want to kind of jump into that because we
Yeah.
know that, you know, strangers don't become buyers, right? It's not like we're just going to be like, hey, do you want to buy my thing? And you
Yeah.
are like, you're the genie on actually, getting people to understand how to actually build relationships. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background? Because you've got so much experience on the back end
Yeah.
helping people build
Yeah. I
relationships.
started when I was two. Um, all right. So in a nutshell, I was introduced to sales at 16. Just it's a funny story, but I was introduced to selling at 16 and I learned even though I was terrified of like objections and asking for a glass of water, even if I was in the deserts, like parched, because God forbid I'd be rude.
Mhm.
It's been a part of my life all my life. And just for some of you who are like, you're great technicians, but you're new to selling yourself, whatever. I really felt I can remember like in my 20s feeling like uh Al Pacino in The Godfather. I
Mhm.
try to leave and then they suck me back in. Whether it would be like, I could work for $10 an hour at the burger joint, or I could do sales and make triple.
Mhm.
Or I could go do something at college for like 15 bucks, or I can go have my own business and sell and make $50 an hour.
Mhm.
All the way, up to saying, why don't I just have my own business and like teach people how to do it the right way?
Yeah.
So, um, but everywhere I turned, what worked for me or the sales opportunities or the careers that I really enjoyed was where I was encouraged to build relationships. So I literally started building territories like as a teenager for businesses, adult businesses. And it was always like, go get them, kid. You're hired. Go find your clientele.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was like, I started in retail, in a boutique where,
Mhm.
yes, the traffic came to me,
Mhm.
but my job was to keep them coming back
Ah, yes.
and asking them, like, do you like my service? Do you love bring friends, bring
Mhm.
friends. And that was the way I learned how to grow businesses.
Mhm.
When I got more into different types of sales and different corporate stuff, there and any sales training that you read or anybody, it's written in a very go get them, like eat raw meat way. I
Yeah.
never resonated with that.
Mhm.
So I always experienced a gap between the information and application.
Mhm.
It was really frustrating.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I learned, I didn't know I had this ability. I just learned like being dyslexic.
Mhm.
I had to learn, I learned how to translate the information to my way of thinking, or like,
Mhm.
okay, that's true, but how would I do that? Because I'll never do
Mhm. Right.
that. That's when I really started having fun with this.
Mhm.
And when the belief really shifted in my head, I was in my 20s and I was waitressing through college because that was another way
Mhm.
of making more money than just working in an office for $10 an hour. And it dawned on me, selling is not a bad word. It's not a swear word.
Mhm.
It's helping people make decisions.
Yep.
And even in the restaurant Greek diner, well, it was like a restaurant that I worked in, we were encouraged to build relationships with our diners to
Mhm.
the point where we'd have regulars,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We'd have regulars.
Right.
And this particular diner would bring in like the high-end realtors. I remember on Sundays pouring coffee for the mayor and all the
Mhm.
councilmen and like be like
Mhm.
hearing, like getting an education, talk, letting them talk like, all together at their Sunday meeting. Um, but high-end doctors, everybody, I'm like, and they would ask me, Kim, what should we order? Me? Like, yeah, like, you know, the menu.
Mhm.
And I would just, in the vein of helping, like, well, okay, well, what are you doing? Are you going back and doing
Mhm.
surgery?
Mhm.
Are you going to play golf? That
Right.
depends on what I'm gonna,
Yeah.
are you like, are you trying to keep it like,
Yeah.
you going somewhere in a week? Um, and they'd be like, they say like, oh yeah. And I'd be like, well, based on that, why don't you try over there?
Mhm.
And they were all like, it wasn't, and you'd upsell,
Mhm.
would you like an appetizer with that? Would you like something else with that? So that was like the education part, like where I really
Mhm.
understood people just need, and I would say to my boss and like, they might be brain surgeons, but they don't know how to order. Like, they need my help ordering a hamburger.
Mhm.
And it really hit home.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't matter, because I think sometimes we sometimes are afraid to talk to the people that intimidate us
Yep.
or that we think are out of our league. Um, at the time, they were, like, they were so many eons ahead of me. But in that moment, they needed me like water in a desert
Mhm.
because they couldn't make a decision.
Yep.
I've kept that in my mind, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like, yeah,
Yep.
I'm not selling you this
Yeah.
or that.
Yeah.
I'm helping you make a decision.
Yep. Yep.
That really freed me up. We call me the success genie. That really was like, oh,
Yep.
you can
And
do
I
that.
love that because it takes, I do the same thing, right? Like I am not interested in giving anybody a sales pitch, right? And neither are you. Like that doesn't feel fun to any of us, right? To feel like, oh my God, I have to pitch him. I got to close the deal. I got to say the right thing. I got to overcome all the objections. I got to do the like that never felt
Yeah.
good for you or for me. But when we approach it the way that you do and the way that you learned at such a young age, that we're helping them make an empowered decision, right? We're just helping them make a decision. What do you want? Let me help you get that.
Yeah.
And that's what
And
you do so well.
well, it's a belief at the core,
Mhm,
and I notice, and I do, being
mhm,
now online with you guys for the past few years, and seeing the reaction to the soiree, and having to slow my mind down because everyone's asking me, how do you do it? Like, how, and
mhm,
I'm like, so when I do it, I'm like, kind of like, yeah, how do I do it?
mhm,
And there is a system. There is a system to it. And everyone wants the sexy magic words. And the truth is, there is no magic beans.
mhm, mhm.
It's a belief system.
Yep.
And it's a decision about who you are and what you want to do and why you're here.
Mhm,
And you do it, everyone's different,
mhm,
right? So I'm a natural problem solver. I can't help it. If I
mhm.
see someone stuck between the avocados and the watermelon, I'm gonna stop and say, "What's the matter? You want to help? You help?" And like, yeah, like this is how you know.
Yeah,
Like I remember being in the store and this woman is like struck like and agonizing over which melon. I'm like, "Are you trying to buy a melon? Yeah. What? You don't know how to pick a good one, right?" It's like, "No." Here you go. And we're like, I'm thumping the like, "Do you hear this?" And she's like, "Thank you so much." I mean, I can't help
yeah.
it. I
Mhm,
can't help it.
mhm,
I bring that strength to my conversations. I can't hide it.
mhm,
I'm a natural connector, whether you need me, you, a
mhm.
hairdresser, exorcist, like I'll find it. You know, okay. I do. I actually have a friend who's like Vatican certified. Um, but
Wow.
I just, it's who I am.
Yeah.
Everyone has that something.
Mhm,
So the way you start is you really own that something. Like somebody might be a
mhm,
great listener.
mhm,
Somebody might be a great supporter.
mhm,
Somebody might be really creative. Like,
mhm.
and then it starts with a belief that we're required.
Mm,
There's days that, there's
mhm.
days like I might be the genie, but I'm feeling more like a weenie. Or like I'm just, just it's
You're
like,
the weenie genie.
yeah, I'm like, I can't do it today. I just can't. I can't put on the makeup. I can't, I just I gotta be the genie, but out like on the down low. Um or you're just like, okay, I gotta do this, but like I gotta do this. If you come from the place of you don't have to do this,
Mhm.
you just have to be.
Yeah,
And what if you're just available?
yeah.
And what if you just put it out there?
Mhm.
That's how I start conversations.
Yeah.
Or I'll say, yeah, I'd rather watch General Hospital and do the reruns of like whatever. But who might need to speak to me today,
Mm.
or who might need to like, you do a great job with lives, and like people go,
Mhm.
what do I say? I'm like, say what you need to say. Or but
Mhm.
you sometimes just get the leading
Mhm.
to say
Yep.
something.
Yep.
Or there's been somebody on your mind and you say, I'm just gonna reach out to so and so, just and say, and oh my God, I've been thinking about you. Like, oh my God, I was like ready to call you. So for me, the foundation is, what conversation do you want?
Mhm.
Who do you want to have it with? What's
Mhm.
the belief about that conversation, and what's the attitude you want to take?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, we can just marinate that for a second. If you sell, I sell, we all have to sell, but I would never. All right, here's a genieism, Chris. If you show up to a conversation with dollar signs in your eyes, which we
Mhm.
all can do because sometimes
Mhm.
we get feeling needy, that makes people, even if you don't say anything, they feel like a lamb chop
Mhm. Mhm.
in a butcher shop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you can say all that. Everyone wants to know the words. Yeah, okay, there's words, but it's if it's done with the wrong attitude or energy,
Yep.
instead of making people feel safe and open to discuss what's going on, their guard goes up because they feel like a lamb chop
Right.
exposed
Right.
in the butcher cabinet.
Yeah.
And that's the nuance.
Mhm.
And that's why, like, I teach when, at the soirees or my free soirees, or people will say, like, what makes you different? Talk about the 7 internal success skills,
Mhm. Mhm.
because that's like a radio station.
Yep.
You just once you know what they are and how to use them, it's like, well, do you want to listen to pop? Do you want to listen to like reggae? Do you want to listen to classic rock? Who do you want to rock with?
Yeah.
Because once you do that, especially now with online, because like you can talk to so many people,
Mhm.
this is important, because if you don't know how to infuse this attitude, this
Mhm.
belief system into your words, you may or may not attract
Yeah.
the conversations you want to have.
Right, right, right. And I think, the important thing here is conversations are important. It's what we need to be having. And yet, I think that because of the way that people in the past, more of the aggressive sales tactics that have been taught, which is go have a conversation, but just try to sell your thing, right? Go have a conversation, but then what you're really trying to do is instead of really being helpful and helping them make a decision, you're trying to enroll them into your thing, right? And so what I'm hearing you say is that we just get to be real people and have this conversation and uncover what is it that they're looking for, and just have that conversation without necessarily needing to close the deal, get the money right from that conversation, because then it feels very, very needy.
Yeah, well, and let's chunk up, right?
Mhm.
So, and again, because some people, depending on their value drive, like, I'm not saying kumbaya. I'm not
Mhm.
saying, open ministry, help everyone that comes your way.
Mhm. Mhm.
There has to be, like, I'm a natural helper. It pours out of me, but even I have a limit to how much I can give without
Mhm.
filling up my cup.
Right.
So it's the attitude is, you always have to fill up your cup first before you can give. Like, as
Yep.
a person who has an inherent love of people, like off the chart, an inherent love of people. I don't always think me, I think we.
Mhm.
I've had to learn, if I'm going to take care of the masses, I better show up first in line.
Mhm. Mhm.
Otherwise, this doesn't work. Like, all my
Right.
heart-centered people that I know we both attract, if
Yep.
you don't learn how to put yourself first, it ain't happening.
Yep. Yep.
So there has to be a little bit of what's in it for me. The strategy that you love so much is, I do this because I know what I'm building. I'm building an ecosystem.
Mhm.
I'm building a garden of relationships.
Mhm.
It's the metaphor, but so we don't get into the
Right.
weeds about
Yep.
exactly. So it's like planting a garden. There's different sections for different vegetables and fruits,
Mhm.
and each has their season,
Right.
right? You've got your spring crop, your summer crop, your October crop. We
Mhm.
don't start worrying about if the October crop is ready in like May.
Right.
We're doing certain things to make sure that crop is plentiful.
Right.
And there are some things that grow quickly, because like we can't wait until the fall to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So my way is about building a strategic partnership
Mm-hmm.
with everyone that I meet, knowing that anyone at any given time could be a prospect, a resource, or a referral source.
Mm-hmm.
So my way, I think what the nuance that I teach that helps everyone fill the gaps is because I hear you, this is the cringe. Like I want to go like nails on the chalkboard. When I hear someone say, I don't think I'm in front of the right people
Mm-hmm.
or I'm not in the right rooms, I want to be like, bullshit. Like, no, you have a mindset issue. You have an attitude issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can be like, you might not be in the room with the swans or the rooms with the eagles or the whatever you're looking
Mm-hmm.
for. But if you're relationship oriented and you understand community, you know, you are only six. They've proven this. They've done Harvard studies. So this is not me, my opinion. I'm talking about studies like with more
Mm-hmm.
brilliant people than I, that you can be in the middle of Iowa and find somebody who has a relationship with Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to meet Brad Pitt. Like I want to like shake. I want to have dinner. Okay, and you're in the middle of Iowa,
Mm-hmm.
far, far from Hollywood.
Right.
Or you want to meet somebody like in New York City, Wall Street, and you're in Iowa, like
Mm-hmm.
the corn, the land of the corn. You think, well, they're farmers. What do they know?
Right.
You do not know who they know, who they
Yep.
know, who they know.
Yep.
So, and the metaphor is my favorite metaphor of teaching when I teach this concept is Pretty Woman, that famous scene when
Mm-hmm.
she walks into that high-end Rodeo Drive boutique looking like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the lady of the night. And she had money. She had tens of thousands of dollars. He gave her, go get a dress. Based on the way she looked, she was ignored.
Mm-hmm.
She was humiliated and she was asked to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he, Hector Alonso, the head of the hotel, makes a call
Mm-hmm.
to that's how I started in
Mm-hmm.
sales, being that woman that he
Mm-hmm.
called.
Mm-hmm.
She gets all dolled up. She buys more than what she had that he originally gave her. And she goes in back and she's like, hi, remember me? And they don't recognize her
Mm-hmm.
because she looks different. And she's like, you work on commission, right? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Big mistake. Gotta go shopping now. That is the quintessential wake up call,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not that you have to spend hours with people who aren't ready for you, but before you throw them back or you throw them away, ask the question, how can they help you?
Mm-hmm.
And you never know who they know. Say, listen, I can't help you with what I got, but you seem like a nice person. What are you looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's down the street. Would you like an introduction or you want me to just write down the directions for you?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you story after story after story in my personal life with my clients, how many times that little act of kindness
Yeah.
has brought me resources that I could never pay for,
Mm-hmm.
clients that I could never cold call my way into,
Mm-hmm.
and friendships that I could never imagine
Mm-hmm.
not having.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
that also makes it fun. That's, and I know that that's one of your core principles is if it ain't fun,
mhm.
it
No,
ain't
and if it ain't making you money and it ain't making you happy, ditch it. There's a
mm-hmm.
better way.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the only way I know to make money quickly
Mm-hmm.
and to scale it. Because as and this whole thing about building your business up and burning it down is very
Mm-hmm.
foreign to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have the experience, like my business is growing and life comes in like a wrecking ball,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay, we'll rebuild it.
Yeah.
But it's always been with my foundation intact.
Right.
It's always been with my relationships
Yep.
going, well, isn't this interesting? Let's go clean up and let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this phenomenon
Mm-hmm.
online about they making the money and they're miserable, so we got to burn it down or break it, change it every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they're missing this.
Mm-hmm.
because when it's right, like as you grow, you change, as you grow, things evolve.
Yeah.
But if it's not fun you and I do the same thing. Like when
Mhm.
clients come in or people talk to me, like just like maybe having coffee, my question is like, what do you want? What do you really, really want?
Mhm.
That's my first question. Like, what are you
Yeah.
looking for?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about this because
Mhm.
I'm talking about that.
Yeah.
And most people go, I never thought to look out there.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we're going to make the decisions that we're going to make. And we're going to go, like, that's to me, that's like I thought everyone knew this. I
Mhm.
just thought like everything I do, everything I do is like about who do I want to be or who do I want to serve at the highest level.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll serve whoever's in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, you want to come with me? You're like, oh, you're scared. Oh, you don't go. Okay, I'll put you over there. Like, well, I'll
Yeah.
like come with me, and then the next stop, I'll get you on the bus. Like, you don't
Right.
want to go in the whatever. But for me, that's as crazy as life can be and as unpredictable. That's always been like my guide.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
wow, I ended up in East Jesus, God knows where. That wasn't planned. That wasn't planned. And I don't know where the main road is. Might as well build relationships with the locals.
Yeah.
And right. And they're like, and they, you have like, hey, how are you? How are you? Like, you just start talking. Hey, like, you trying to get somewhere? Yeah. And before you know it, they're like, we'll escort you.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
you'll be, and
Hop
then
in,
come back,
honey. Hop on.
or like
We'll take you there.
follow me. Cause like, and then they'll be like, now when you come back now, you come for dinner. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
like, that's the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Tell us.
whatever you want to do with that, to play with that.
No, I think that's exactly, I think what, yeah, again, people that come into our world who are heart-centered, who want to make an impact in the world, who want to use their gifts and their services for helping other people, that is such a refreshing, you know, tone that really, again, it's not new. It's actually kind of going back to
It's
the
old school.
it's
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
school, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yet it's been forgotten over time. And so we do need
Yeah.
to come back to that component of making people your priority and building the relationships.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be so damn hard. And it doesn't have to
No,
be scary.
it's really not. So let's close the loop on this.
Hmm.
Kim, that sounds great, but how am I making my money?
Hmm.
I'll give you an analogy, movies. Um, almost everyone on the planet has watched The Godfather. If you
Hmm.
haven't watched it, I actually have my clients watch it as curriculum.
What?
But
That's so
yeah, I
cool.
do. My corporate guys, I call it mafia management. But yes, in relationship building, you watch. There's questions that I ask, and I tell them what to study. But Marlon Brando and my mother built an incredible network, and she was an incredible salesperson for all her life. But Marlon Brando, if you watch the movie, he came up, as an orphan from Italy,
Hmm. Hmm.
was under the thumb of the Don of the day, and he
Hmm.
was not the nicest relationship or but
Hmm.
anyway, he took his he eliminated the competition, became the new Don. Instead of extracting from people like you want to my help pay me, he would just do what was needed to be done.
Hmm.
Whether it was help the little old lady not get evicted and let the kid keep the dog because the husband just died, or protection, whatever.
Hmm.
And they'd be like, oh, Godfather, what can I do for you? He's like, nothing today. He goes,
Hmm.
and I may never ask you for anything, but one day if I ask, I come, remember this day I helped you.
Yeah.
Everyone went out of their way to make sure Corleone, like, there was reverence for him.
Yeah.
If he needed something, you don't have to ask, what do you need?
Yeah.
So what this relationships, if you're talking to the right people and they're meant to be in your circle, because that's like building the garden, do these seeds belong in your garden? Are they worth nurturing?
Mm-hmm.
What happens is when you don't pounce on them to say, want to buy me yet?
Mm-hmm.
And you serve them in whatever way, being a kind ear, or saying, oh, like, why don't you just move that 2 feet to the left? It'll be, and they're like, they immediately say, and how can I help you?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is where what you talk about so well, why we need to have a message, an introduction that's not a word salad.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's got to be simple, crisp, infused with all your energy and a really great outcome, because that person that you're thinking is like, oh man, but will go out of their way to find people who want to
Mhm.
buy that from you.
Yep. Yep.
And it
Yep.
can be immediate or it can be over time.
Mhm.
But if you're doing this on a regular basis and having whatever level of conversations are comfortable, you will get an immediate result. Meaning, like, for example, because like you never asked me to be in my room, but I said, can you come in my room? I
Mhm.
never asked to be in your room. You're like, Kim, would you like to? I think it just comes out of
Mhm.
relationships. Like, we're
Yep.
like, we've been talking so much, you know what? We need to like invite other people into this conversation. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, how do we do that? So the point of this, when you do it authentically, when you do it clearly, you literally get invited to pitch your stuff.
Mhm.
Like, they're like, and tell me again what you do. I think I need it.
Yeah.
So that's why, and I love to hear your story so they can hear like
Mhm.
both sides. I haven't pitched in 30 years. The
Mhm.
minute I became a coach, I'm like, I can't cold call.
Mhm.
This doesn't feel right.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
want people. I need people like air when I started my business with no money. Um, but what I love about this approach to relationship building is people ask me,
Mhm.
would you be willing to come into my room? Would you be willing to give a talk? Would you
Mhm.
be willing to take me on as a client? And
Mhm.
then, it's like, you gotta go, let me think about that. Oh yeah, sure. Right? So, and
Yeah.
or like, or you say to somebody, I really like what you do,
Mhm.
and I don't do that. Is there a way that you can come into my world and we can like
Mhm.
create a collaboration so that because
Yeah.
I know my clients need this,
Yeah.
and I don't feel comfortable letting them be a free range chicken to go find it on their own because I don't know who
Yeah.
they're talking to.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Can you come in as the trusted resource that I believe you are and know you to be, and guide them, give them a little something, and or either come into my, like, what we do, we invite each other to work with our
Mhm.
clients,
Yeah.
and or can you, you might not be ready to be with them, but can you invite them and grow them up? Because at least
Mhm.
when I know when they're ready for you, they already have a
Mhm.
relationship with you, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
who knows, they might have 10 people already buy from me right now. I won't say a problem with that.
Yeah.
That's the tangible outcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely. 1000%. I love this so
like,
much,
and then
Kim.
I know that's happened for you too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think, again, one of the differences, because I've actually done it both ways, because, I'm a student, or when I was first still, starting to build and grow my business, when I first got my coaching certification, I followed what it is that they were telling me, right? I was coachable. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll try the thing. Yeah, tell me what to do. And again, what they were teaching was, and I believe that back then, this is back in 2015, was outdated. I still feel like it's outdated today, was to, again, not just have what it is that we're talking about with genuine, clean energy of wanting to help and say, what is it that you need? But it was with the intention of needing to try to convince or persuade the person that you're talking to buy the thing. So there was a disconnect for me because it didn't feel authentic to me. It felt like I was saying, sure, let me just give you a free coaching session. But really, what they were teaching you to do was to sell them into something. So the intention that you're going into with that conversation wasn't really authentically supportive. Now, because I decided that that didn't work for me, I decided instead, you know what? Let me just hop on a conversation with somebody and help them make a decision, an empowered choice. And if
or
I'm not
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
great, and if I'm not great, tell me what you want. I'll send you there. So there wasn't this pressure to try to sell somebody into something preconceived before I even knew what it is that they wanted.
Yes.
Right? It
Yes, because
wasn't about
that's our
me
that
anymore, right?
right.
It's
And so
about
that's,
them.
yeah. And for us, that's the only way we know how to do it.
Mhm,
So we have to layer on that, like, people have different values or different drivers. So, and like a lot of the new people,
mhm,
business or even established business owners, because when you hit a
mhm,
revenue plateau, you feel like you're back like day one.
mhm,
If you need to make money quickly,
mhm,
or you want to just scale quickly, this is why we talk about mindset, skill set,
mhm,
strategy.
mhm,
I don't have time to go into it. You guys want to follow me? I talk about it transparently. I have
Yeah.
a strategy. Why I do this makes sense to me. And I'm setting up my garden every day. I'm putting people in place to grow them. I know where that relationship is going, and I know why I'm
Right.
doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Um, you need a message. Like I tell people, it's like a black dress
Mhm.
outfit that you can dress up or down, or a black suit if you're a male. Take you wherever you want to go. Because even if somebody's not buying you from today, that doesn't mean they won't promote you.
Yes. Well, this is what's different than it with what you're teaching and what I'm teaching, and that is these conversations are actually putting value in the value bank, right? It
Yes.
is the energy that whatever it is that we do, when we're giving, when we're serving, when we are sharing, when we are putting value out there for somebody, it might not come back directly from that person or
No,
through
it
the
but it but
front
it
door.
boomerangs in some other way.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So again, the pressure is off of, I have to convert this one client right now, even though they're a stranger and they don't really have a relationship with me yet, into how can I just serve and support and know that the value and the energy that I'm putting out will come back to me
Yeah,
first.
that's the fertile soil
Right.
that is required for scaling. So I'm not throwing
Mhm.
shade. I'm just calling it what it is. So the way everyone was taught in 2006, when it was like,
Mhm.
when it was the pioneer and like it was all new and everyone was jumping in, and 2015, and even like COVID,
Yeah.
it was like, we're bored by me. And it was the shift. The coaching industry used to be about relationships and
Mhm.
changing beliefs and attitudes
Yep.
and shifting that. Then somehow, and it's not bad, it's just it got lost.
Mhm.
The industry became about information because we entered
Yep.
the right 2000, we started the information age, like the
Yep.
industrial age, the
Yep.
millennium, to the information age, which is great. We're still in
Right.
it. But and if you separate them, they're fine. The problem is we took a coaching industry and bent its integrity to be this. This
Mhm.
or that is fine. Integrated, beautiful. But when you start pretending a bamboo tree is a willow tree, it's not the same.
Right. Right.
Okay, so with that said, when we do it the old or the traditional way that everyone knows online, you get it. Yes, you can do rapid sales, but since there's no relationship, retention sucks. You hear
Yep.
all of our great teachers saying,
Yep.
yeah, you got them in, but at the same time, you're losing more than you're getting in. And
Right.
right, why is that? Retention sucks. Um, People don't show up.
Mhm.
People didn't read the fine print or understand, oh, like coaching is about me transforming, not about you doing the work for me.
Mhm.
Feelings get hurt,
Mhm.
expectations aren't met. You do everything that you were told to do, you blossom to seven figures, you hate your life. You have
Mhm.
no time. You're managing people that you have no skill set for. It's
Right.
a shit show.
Right.
So what do? You burn it down, you change your offer. All of this creates, first of all, if you ain't happy, I got a problem.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I just want to know that you're a peace, joy, and we can
Yep.
find the profit.
Yep.
But if profit is making you miserable, that's a no go for me.
Yep.
But also all this, the only one who can really get away with this is like Madonna. Like
Mhm.
this reinvention,
Mhm.
it creates confusion
Yeah.
in the marketplace.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So for the long game, it sounds really sexy and you might get some sizzle, but you are about sustainability.
Mhm.
And what I want to just say with this, in that when you build relationships, and I have, without going, I tell everyone if you come follow me, I've had a lot of life hits. Some that people like, I don't know how you got up again, Kim. I can
Mhm.
tell you how I got up. My relationships.
Mhm.
And when I couldn't get up, when I was broken and be like, everyone called, was like, what do you need?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what to ask, but like, whatever you want, Kim. And that's like what I want for the
Yeah.
listeners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and a tip that I gave your group that I would be happy to share. Like, if you don't know who your market is, or you don't think you're in the right room, go interview the people who know you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think I'm going to
Yeah.
ask them, like, how do they see you? Why would they choose you? What do they need that's keeping them up at night? Even if it's
Yeah.
not anything you can fix. One of the things that I did not realize, because I've been so busy with dealing with life, is everyone's like, we trust you
Mm-hmm.
and we know you'll help us even if we're not a direct fit for you.
Yeah.
But everyone, when I asked for an interview, I said, thank you. So I started the conversation with, thank you so much for giving me this 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And all of them said, Chris, anything for you, Kim.
Aw.
I was like, and like, it goes to what you were saying, that value bank.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and just remember this, because you might be thinking you have to do everything yourself. And,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot to scaling a business and there's a lot of things to do. What I love about relationships, and I did this through the last training I did, because there was a lot of things went sideways. I said to myself, you don't do this by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I phoned a friend. I said, I know it's like 3 days before, but would you send this out? They're like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't get this thing. You want me to fix it for you? Can you? Yeah, but you can do it. No, I'll give it to me. I'll just do it for you. Blah, blah, blah. And it was like, they're all just like, what do we need to do? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Can we come?
Yeah.
And I was like, they didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, everything is short circuiting. And
Yeah.
what you're talking about, that value bank,
Mm-hmm.
when they know you, when they trust you, they don't care about like what I call the icing.
Yep. Yep.
Like all the things that you think are so important, like the exact thing to say, or the perfect web page,
Right.
or
Right. Right.
fill in the
Yes.
blank.
Yes.
Everyone says we're coming because we know we're going to get value.
Yeah.
And when they're ready, they say, I'm ready. Can I work
Yeah.
with you?
Exactly. Exactly. Amazing. Yes. So on that note, what I want you to do is to share a little bit about how that they can get in touch with you. So first of all, I think it's coming up on the 18th. Is it September 18th, your next soiree, or
Yes,
18th?
yes,
Okay.
yes. So
Yeah.
we have a wonderful monthly, what I call a networking soiree. You come as you are, come as long as you can. Come in, stay the whole time, come in early, come in late. But basically, I introduce you to my way of building relationships by helping you introduce yourself and make 1 to 5 really solid connections
Mhm.
that you will follow up with and continue the conversation.
Right.
Basically, I let you, if you don't know how to do it, it's okay. I set you up to be to be seen as the expert that you are. I'll ask questions that no one would think to ask you, but they're like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I got to know them.
Yeah.
It happens once a month. This time it's going to be September 18th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to be invited, even if you can't make this soiree, we have a URL. I don't know
Mhm.
if, Chris, you want
Yeah,
me to
I'll
say that
share it.
now, or
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
okay.
We will, Bob, yeah, for those of you to click on the description below, or in the show notes. So if you're on YouTube, click the description. If you're on our podcast, go ahead and just take a look at the show notes. We'll make sure that the link to the soiree and to introducing you into Kim's world is there for you.
Yeah. And you also get a free guide. So even if you don't make it to the soiree or you come later, it'll showcase my 3 steps
Mhm.
to help you get started with your own conversations.
Fantastic. Yes, amazing. Kim, thank you for being here today. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And
You're,
everybody, go download the link, get your guide. I will be in the next soiree. So come, I would love to see
yes,
you there.
come hang out with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come hang out with us. We promise we won't bite.
Yeah.
We'll actually be your best cheerleaders.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. We'll be
yeah,
resources for you for sure.
absolutely. Amazing. All right, everybody. We will see you next time. And Kim, thanks so much. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.